Hi, this is Dave again with Media Digitronics. What I'm going to do in today's video is I'm going to show you how to make film strips and how to use them in your projects. Now, to do this, you have to have the pro version of ScrapPage, so I just thought I'd preface with that this is not for the free version, but for the pro version. In any case, just like any other project, we open a new page, and let's just stick with what we've been playing with here before. As you know, you can pick a color, and then if you want, we can give that background a texture. Let's just choose concrete today for something different. All right, a little busy, but you know, that's just a background, and it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference what we picked. Anyway, then what you need to do in order to use any kind of any of the active elements in ScrapPage, you have to put holders in there. You might remember this from some other video, but the media holders, again, are slideshows, photo holders, graphic message holders, pop-ups, PDF holders, and horizontal and vertical film embedded video holders. So in order to use film strips, we need either to pick the photo holder or the graphic message holder. I'm going to pick the photo holder. It's the more common of the two. And I'll just set it over here someplace on our layout. Now, the other thing we need to have is we need to have something that's going to trigger this thing. The photo holder's sitting there waiting for something to be added to it, but right now nothing is added to it. So we have to put another object on our layout, and it could be, let's say, a text box. It could be anything. It could be a photo. It could be a text box. It could be a plain panel if you wanted. But just recall that any object in ScrapPage can have a link, a hot link, one of these hyperlinks that I referred to, and they will then give instructions to some holder as to what content to place in it. All right, so let's just call this Film 1, and we'll just auto size this thing, something like this. All right, so here's a element now that I'm going to add some content to. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to build myself a pano image. That is, it's going to be a film strip. It's a panoramic type of a film strip. And we're just going to add some images here. I'll go up here and I'll go into I got some photos here that I can use that are going to work pretty well. I'll just grab some of my wife's father here. We'll just pick, say, those 6 photos, okay? So we'll bring them in, and you can see what we got here, right there. There's the photos we built. Now, to create a film strip, it's really hard. You just click this button that says Create Film Strip, and it just did, okay? So there's our film strip. Now, you can see that in this case, it was set up horizontally. It could have been vertically. If we'd have clipped it for vertical and created it, then it would have scanned vertical like such. But let's keep this one as a horizontal film strip. All right. So now we've got it again. You can see it again. There it is. Now I'm just going to copy that to the clipboard, and we'll go in here, and I'm going to go back to my object that I'm going to put the link on, and I'm just going to tell it, hey, I want you to link to a photo holder, and I'm going to paste what we had in from the clipboard. Now, there's the strip. I have to tell ScrapPage that this is a panoramic image, otherwise it will just deal with it as being just a straight image. So we'll tell it it's a pano image, and just tell it OK. Now, we've done that. What do we got? Well, let me move my... first off, I'm just going to build the page. So we'll go ahead and build this action page, and I'll make it for local viewing, and I always keep this little guy around, this thing I call test, that I can just keep writing over and over just for making sure that these things are doing what I expect them to be doing. So it just built the page, and now I'm going to tell it to view the page. To do that, I have to move my browser over here so you guys can see what I got. Let me blow this up. Yeah, here we go. Now I got my browser over here. So I tell it now, you'll notice that it's not here, and I'll show you why it's not here in a moment. But for now, if I click it, you'll see that it comes up, and there's the film strip that we just made, the horizontal scrolling film strip. Okay, now let me close the browser down here a minute, and we're going to go back into here, and I'm going to go up here and tell it, hey, let's modify that link a little bit. What I wanted to do is I want to tell it to be the initial photo. Now, remember, the film strip was visible, but I didn't tell it what to put in there. So I'm going to tell it, hey, I want you to be the visible, plus I want this to be the initial photo. And I'm also going to put a bounding rec around it. And I'll add a closing box or a closing X as well. This bounding rec will just be a white rectangle that goes around the image and around the photo holder, that is. And this guy here is just going to be like something that'll allow me to shut it down or close it off and still have it active, be part of the picture but not active at any moment. So we'll tell it yes again. Now we'll go in here one more time. We'll rebuild the page. And again, I'm just going to build it and call it test. And yes, I want to overwrite it. Okay, it's finished with the build. Now I'll tell it to view the page. Okay, now the page comes back and you can see that the film strip is visible right at the beginning. Plus it has this closing X up here that I can shut it off if I want. Okay, now let's close this down here. Let's go back into here and we'll give this thing another element. Let's pick a picture this time. I can go in here and say, hey, go somewhere different. Let's get some pictures of, here we go, get some pictures of this young lady here. I'm going to open, just say, well, that one. We'll just open that picture. And I'm going to shrink it down in size, make it sort of a thumbnail. And now we've got that over there. Now keep in mind, this photo, just like the film strip text box, this thing can have a link that links to anything. It links to, and we can make it link to this photo holder. We could make it link to a text box if we wanted to. We could make it link to a lot of things. But since we got a photo holder here, I'm going to go again and back into my photo or my Pano Maker, and I'm going to add some images, and I'm going to add the images of her. So let's add these 6 images of this young lady. All right. When they come in, you'll see that there they are. There's a photo or the images of her. And this time I'm going to tell it, hey, let's make a vertical, and we'll create the film strip. So there's the film strip now put together. We'll close that off and copy it to the clipboard just like we did before. We'll close this. Now we'll go back to here, and I'm going to tell her, hey, I want you also to link to that photo holder, but you're going to use this image. That is the film strip that we just made. We'll go in here now and tell it, yes, that is a film strip. I'm not going to make that, well, let's make this one be the initial. That will negate the other one being the initial. And everything will be visible. It'll still have its closing X and its bounding rectangle around it. And we'll tell it, okay. And now we go in, and once again, we build our page. And we'll tell it again to build it for local on using it as test. And fine, we'll go in here. Now that it's done with that, we'll launch the page, and you can see now that she comes up as being the primary initial photo. And there's her film strip scrolling vertically. As before, we can shut it off and bring it back if we want. And now if we go over here and click on this one, you'll see that she's been replaced by this gentleman here and his film strip, and he scrolls horizontally. And again, I can shut him off and bring him back at will, or I can just switch back and forth between the two like so. So that's how you make film strips. You can see it's pretty quick and easy, and that's how you employ them, using a photo holder and just identifying the film strip that you want that photo holder to contain. So until the next video, this is Dave from Media Digitronics.